London. It's just been evacuated by all the anarchists who believe that the police are coming tonight. I've already had my name taken by the police today, so I'm really not bothered about getting it taken again. Basically, where have we come to this point? I came down from Scotland to throw a custard pie at a Scots Guard, which I'm still going to do. But in the meantime, we have started a little revolution of our own, although it's a revolution, it's an evolution of the revolution. What we're trying to do is steer the movement away from the trend of the media focusing on the negative imagery, the violence, the property damage, the fighting with the police, which is really not doing any favours for the movement, and that's a widely held belief amongst the majority of people involved. 26th of March was 3 days ago, obviously. The 26th of March in London was when reportedly the BBC and the Mail said that 500,000 people marched the streets, which means that 1 million people marched the streets. The TUC, puppets of the government, marched this 1 million people down a road to Hyde Park and then sent them all home again. 10 of us out of 1 million people occupied Hyde Park. We held it for 3 days under a legal loophole. Because our activity was lawful, we had the police scratching their heads over how to evict us from the Royal Park. Because we had incited the Magna Carta law, it has made the issue of our eviction a matter for debate in Parliament and a matter for the Supreme Court. However, 2 days ago the police evicted us from the site, confiscated all our stuff. I lost all my stuff. 3 people were arrested. They spent the night in jail. One of them was charged, the other one was sort of charged, although he managed to argue in court that his birth certificate was invalid and therefore the charge is invalid because there's no name on it.
And who was that, David?
That was the man commonly known as Dom, who you may see in one of Jimmy's other YouTube videos. So, very nice Inspector MacDonald of the Metropolitan Police, of the Park Police, responsible for policing the Royal Parks of London, has issued everyone who took part in the Hyde Park occupation with an exclusion order banning us from all royal parks for 12 months. However,
including me,
including Jimmy, however, we do not recognise this document. We do not enter into a contract with them regarding this exclusion. Without legal representation, we do not accept that what we did was a public offence. They are claiming that we put up a tent, or put up tents and started fires. I personally did not put up one tent or start one fire. So I have not broken any laws. I turned up on the site, there was already a fire, there was already a tent, and I slept in it.
Absolutely.
However, we've been evicted from the site, and 2 of our compatriots were arrested. Our activity following that was to start a Facebook page called the Hyde Park Legal Rebellion, and our stated objective was to reoccupy Hyde Park and continue to reoccupy Hyde Park until they give us permission to make a lawful stand and continue a lawful People's Assembly in support of the 1 million people march of the 26th of March.
Because I'd say that was 1 million. If they said 500,000, you know it's going to be double that.
It's got to be.
That's why
They
we have to
always
point
cut
that
it
out. Point that out.
They always cut it in half. So we are meeting at this point every night at 7:30 at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park to discuss and build the movement towards the mass reoccupation of Hyde Park. We're going to, when we get 100 people, we are going to reoccupy Hyde Park en masse. And we are going to incite Magna Carta law, we are going to incite squatters' rights law, and we are going to incite our right to public assembly, to peaceful protest. So this creates a legal quandary which will take them months to sort out. And in those months there will be the largest media event on the planet, which is the Royal Wedding, which is something that's happening over here. But what we're basically trying to do with our lawful rebellion is take the focus away from the negative imagery portrayed in the media, which is creating a division between the people who should be voting and taking a stand against what is an unelected and illegal government. And that is quite a widely held belief. So we're making a stand. We're making a stand at Hyde Park. We're at day 2. We have 20 people prepared for the occupation. When we get to 100, we are going to mass occupy Hyde Park. We're going to have tripods set up. We're going to dig holes in the ground for a long stay at Hyde Park if we have to. They will have to fight us from that spot. If they remove us, we will come back again, and we will come back again and again and again until they allow us the right to peaceful public assembly. So it's all happening very, very fast, and it's a little bit exciting.
Very.
What we're trying to do is create a positive public relations movement to reclaim the revolution, or rather the evolution, for the right reasons. We're of the belief that the actions of I'm not discounting the activities of Black Bloc activists. However, it's a widely held belief that their actions are causing more damage to the revolution than actually creating a following. So what we're trying to do, let me justify that. We're of the belief that we all have a common enemy, that these cuts are not the problem, they are a symptom of the problem. That this problem is far greater than most people even perceive. That this label cuts, which is what everyone is marching against, is what the criminal banking elites have decided to label the latest revolution target to distract attention from their New World Order agenda. However, there are many people who are not falling for that. So we're of the belief that victory can come about not through creating division with the police, but through creating empathy with the police, through winning the support of the police and getting them to go after the real criminals who are deliberately crashing the world economy, who have brought about the situation in which these cuts are beginning to manifest, we need the police to arrest these criminals who have bought the government. The government has been compromised by these criminals, and we the people, we can't arrest them. The only people who can are the police. And until the police take responsibility for their job to uphold the law and go after these super criminals who everybody knows that is what they are. They are mega criminals, and they need to be arrested for what they've done. So we have challenged the Metropolitan Police of Hyde Park to a football match between the activists and the police, which we are going to try and set up within the next 2 weeks. And obviously we're going to win because we will have the best football players in the country. If we don't win, then obviously, well, we're not going to go there because we're going to win. So here we are, we're at day 3 of the lawful rebellion, the Hyde Park lawful rebellion. This has been something of a headquarters, this building. It's a 9-storey building. It's actually the old headquarters of the magazine headquarters. As you can see, it was squatted for 10 days. It has been completely destroyed, and I believe this to be a symptom of the problem. Here we have a beautiful space, a 9-storey building with 50 rooms, which could be used as functional spaces, which could be used for workshops, for art workshops, for first aid workshops, for activist training workshops. And instead what has been happening here is destruction. This is not a revolution. This is writing on a wall. You know, there is some very interesting writing on the wall. This is the one I wrote because
What was that, David? Was that up there?
I gave up my job 9 years ago and became a full-time activist, and I have been very active, although very underground in my activity, and few people know what I've been doing. However, I've not kept a secret of it. I've been very public about what I've been doing and through social networking. And not everyone agrees with what I'm doing. However, I know that what I'm doing is more effective than what has been happening here. I came down from Scotland to have a revolution. I came down from Scotland to bring down this government. And what I have found here in the squat society, that there's not enough action. There's a lot of talk. There's too much division. There's not enough organising going on. There's too much infighting. There's too much disagreement over what the objective is. There's this idea of anarchy. I'm not an anarchist. However, I do see some of the qualities of anarchy being valuable components of the system that will emerge from the fall of the current system, such as everyone should have a voice. There should still be a cabinet, an elected cabinet, and there should still be decision makers who are responsible for the decisions that are made. However, those decision makers should be responsible to the people on every single decision that they make. We can't allow for the type of thing that happened in Iraq, where the government illegally went to war. Everyone knew it was illegal, but they still went and had their war anyway, and it was then proven that we were all right. The million plus people who marched in London, the 50 plus million people who marched around the world, who knew it was another fake war for the resources of Iraq to install another puppet government to further the agenda of the New World Order. And we were right. And the people who broke the law and murdered millions of people, not discounting the 20 million who were killed during the sanctions that were on Iraq, they are criminals. And they are being protected. They are not being held accountable. And that is because of the corruption of the government, the legal system, and the greed, the rampant greed of capitalism, which is failing 90% of the world's people. And these are things we have to change. And really, this is why we're making a stand at Hyde Park, is to bring about a platform for that change. But winning the support of the people is
So I got a book in.
a large component of that.
So I got rinsed in. Do you ever get rinsed in?
No.
Margarine's good for that. So.
And if we can do that, if we can win the support of the sleeping majority who have become so disillusioned with what is happening that they have simply stopped voting for lack of any real choice in the ballot, which has killed the political system and has allowed the greed and the fakery and the lies of the politicians to hoodwink the people. And what has been happening here in this building, this beautiful building, there have been hundreds of people coming through this building, and there's been one of many hubs of organisation around London where people are discussing and organising many actions. There are actions taking place every day in London, and these things do feed into the greater consciousness. What is basically happening at the moment is that the royal wedding has been timed very specifically to create a nationalist following, and what is happening in the media is the media are demonising the entire movement by labelling it with the negative actions of what I've witnessed are idealistic kids who want to overthrow the government, that believe they can do it violently because they are being given no other choice. And what we're trying to do at Hyde Park is give them another choice, because violent revolution of the government is never going to work. Any revolution based on violence is impermanent, because it is negatively charged from day one. It will always set the initial conditions for the corruption to become rife again. Whereas if we can create a peaceful revolution where all we have to do is heal the divisions that have been caused and wake people up to the lie, and especially wake the police up to the lie, the military, the secret services, and the real politicians who care about how the country is run and how that integrates into the world politic. We need to wake them up to the fact that the corruption has to stop, and they're the ones that have to stop it. So we're at Hyde Park, we're starting now, and we want you all to come along and join us, and you know, love the police, it's the only way. And you know, lawful rebellion. If it's unlawful, they know what to do. They hit you with a stick. If you're being lawful, they will scratch their head and try and work out a way to stop you. And that's how we're going to beat them.
David, I just want to say this. It's been fucking amazing spending the weekend with you, guy. Honestly, you are a total diamond, like. I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for that. Cheers for that.